Okay, personal effectiveness skills, i.e. soft skills. I could talk all day long about how those words define those terms. But today I'm going to tell you some real life stories about people and how soft skills, simple soft skills, have had a dramatic effect on their lives. Back in July of 1975, I was taking applications for job positions in a new retail store I was opening in Newburgh County. The first person in line that day was a neatly dressed, smiling, confident young man named Joe. Joey came up to me, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, and thanked me for the opportunity. Joey handed me his application. From that application, I learned quickly that Joey was a sophomore in high school. I hired Joey on the spot that day. He was one of two people that I hired on the spot that day. Joey worked 40 hours a week, all through high school, through 2 years of community college here at Madisonville. And for 40 years with me, he became the general manager of a retail business that included a $10 million retail business that included a 78,000 square foot retail store, a 50,000 square foot logistics center that serviced 100,000 online customers and had 100 employees under him. It took me 2 minutes that day in July to recognize the potential in Joe. It wasn't because he had a great education. He was only a sophomore in high school. It wasn't because of his job experience. It was all about the soft skills that were demonstrated in my office that day by a sophomore in high school. Another example, a girl named Sue. About a month before I took these applications, I went to the lumber yard to get some supplies to build some fixtures for the store. I placed my order and went back into the loading dock expecting a forklift to bring the stuff out. To my surprise, a young lady walks out with a stack of 2x4s on each shoulder and throws them up in my truck and says, "I'll be back in a minute." Well, after my shock, I said, "You know what, I need to hire that girl." So when she came back out, I told her we were taking applications next month. She should come by. Well, a month later, there's Sue in my office handing me her application. Well, her application wasn't exactly a grammatical masterpiece. Turns out Sue had a 6th grade education, had worked when she was 13 with her dad, who was a handyman, to help support the family. At 16, she was working full-time for the lumber yard. I hired Sue. She was the second person I hired on the spot that day. What I saw in Sue was somebody who had survived tough circumstances at home, but had a work ethic second to none. Now I'd like to tell you a little story, a recent story, an experience I had with a young man named Eshawn. Eshawn was a member of the Little League All-Star baseball team that my grandson played on. We were at a tournament in Hopkinsville. It was 95 degrees, 95% humidity. We were early. And the team that was using the field before us was going into extra innings, so we started looking for a place in the shade. But we found Eshawn and his mother sitting against the back wall of the concession stand and walked over and said, "Can you guys squeeze over a little and make room for us?" Eshawn, a 9-year-old, stands up, says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Fauntleroy. In fact, you can have my chair." Well, I said, "Thank you, Eshawn, but I brought a couple stadium seats. This will be fine. We'll just sit in these." So we got settled in. Eshawn immediately offers us some sunflower seeds. He had a big sack of it. My grandson gladly accepted them. And while they were enjoying their sunflower seeds, I got to thinking a little bit. I was marveling at the show of manners that Eshawn had displayed. And having this day in my mind, I started thinking, and it dawned on me that I couldn't remember the last time a young adult had shown me the kind of respect and consideration that 9-year-old kid just had. So, those simple words, Mr., Mrs., yes, sir, yes, ma'am, the simplest of words can have a tremendous impact on how other people perceive how you are and who you are. So practice them every day in your lives. Respect your parents, respect your grandparents, respect your professors, because soon you may have the opportunity to have an interview for a great job. Your certificates and degrees that you obtain here at Madisonville will get you that interview, along with other applicants who have just as much qualification as you do. Soft skills have the power to get you that job. Is Ms. McLaren here? Nancy McLaren? I wanted to thank you for demonstrating, being a great demonstrator of soft skills by sending me that email thanking me for being here last week today.